Welcome to another episode Around the Lake, and we have Krippa Family Psychological and Wellness, and today we have Kristin Krippa. And Kristin, tell me a little bit about your practice.
Sure. So Krippa Family Psychological Wellness Services, we specialize in children and teens, mostly teens in the Cornelius area, and we have a therapist there that also specializes in eating disorders and couples therapy. But I think most importantly, we have an adolescent intensive outpatient program. So for teens who are suicidal, self-harming, difficulties attending school because of their mental health issues, they can come to us after school hours, and we work on teaching them skills so that they can develop a life that they feel is worth living. And it's a really important program to the Cornelius area, where it's the only one in the Lake Norman area. And we're just trying to keep kids safe.
And you've actually grown it, so you're in other areas as well, right?
We are. We started out, I've been a psychologist for more years than I'd like to say out loud. But yeah, we have an adolescent intensive outpatient program in Cary, and we also have an office in Pittsburgh.
I'm looking at your website specifically about Cornelius. Tell me about some of the people that you have on staff here in the Cornelius Lake Norman region.
Sure. So Samantha Prieto, she is our main therapist out in Cornelius. She specializes in eating disorders and couples work. She's a licensed marriage and family counselor, and she's an amazing therapist. And when she moved to Cornelius, a lot of her clients followed her from the Cary area. So I feel like we're very fortunate to have her. And we have an intern out there who's amazing. She's helping us out in our intensive outpatient program. And right now, I'm out in intensive outpatient program 1 day a week.
Kristin, you said that you specialize in teens. Do you also work with adults?
We do. We have therapists that see across the age. I always say we see 3 to 103. I think my oldest client for myself has been about 87 years old, and my youngest was 2. So we try to see across the age range. We have therapists that specialize in specifically couples. Most of our therapists specialize in trauma, children, or teens.
What would you say the age range of your patients are?
Really, 3 up to, late adulthood, seniors. Most of our clients are adolescents.
And how did you get into that? Did you know in high school and college, this is something that you wanted to do? How did you get into psychological wellness?
By accident, honestly. I had a different career plan, and I was graduating college with my degree in biology with the intention of going on and doing something else. And I realized that that might not be the path I was going to get into. So I almost had a degree in psychology, so I decided to stay and finish it and see what it would be like to work as a psychologist and see if I liked it. And the rest is history. It just seemed to work out. So, and I ended up in North Carolina because I took a job in the prison system because I thought, well, that would be a great place to learn everything I could possibly learn about mental health, and I would see everything. And I've been in North Carolina since.
Kristin, one of the things that's concerned me is we just came through COVID a few years ago, and when I was a young person, 13, 14, 15, those were the years that I started really coming out. But many of our high school kids weren't able to be involved. They weren't able to go to their own graduations. They weren't able to go to movies. They weren't able to date. They weren't able to socialize at all. Are you seeing that play out in teens? Is that something that you're working with?
Yeah, it's had a profound effect, and it's actually had a profound effect across the age range. Last summer, we noticed that many of our students in our intensive outpatient program had speech problems that had never been identified, and they were all very similar age. And I realized that they were in kindergarten when COVID happened, so they didn't happen to get screened for speech problems. So they've managed to make it to middle school with a speech problem that no one's identified. Socially, or we created a whole program, a whole week of services to teach kids how to talk to each other, because we had a group of kids that couldn't have a conversation, they couldn't ask each other questions. So we created a whole week of social studies on how to start a conversation, how to carry the conversation. And that's been very effective. But yeah, COVID and the internet has had a profound effect on, teenagers, but I would say probably anybody that was, in high school or below.
Parents have a lot of choice in our area in terms of healthcare providers, in terms of education, and in terms of psychological wellness. Why should somebody turn to your practice?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think one of the things that is important about Krippa is, one, we are still locally owned. A lot of practices are being bought up by venture capitalist programs and they become more industrialized. We provide very personalized care, whether that's you're coming in as an individual, or if you're coming in as a family, or you're coming into our intensive outpatient program. We're going to individualize that care. I always say, like, from the moment somebody gets on the phone, we're holding your hand till you get to the door, because it's really scary to call a therapy practice to get therapy for yourself or your child. And one of the challenges that you have when you have you're seeing kids in a group is that a lot of places it's like, hey, you're here for 6 weeks and this is what we're doing. And if you fit in, that's great. But if you don't, too bad. And ours is very individualized. If we have a kid with a learning disability that maybe no one's identified, we will read the material with them individually. We're a very active group, so there's not a whole lot of reading happening, but we're going to make sure that we meet their needs for whatever challenges they're having.
And Krista, just like I asked why Krippa, why Lake Norman? You could have opened your practice in a lot of different areas, and you have, but why did you select Cornelius and Lake Norman for your practice?
It's funny. Many years ago, I did a Rambling Rose with my daughter in Huntersville, and I fell in love with the area. And one of our therapists was moving out to the Lake Norman area, and it just seemed like it was serendipity. It's such a beautiful area. We love Cornelius. We're right on the lake, so it's a beautiful healing environment. And I love small downtowns, and so it was just fitting.
Well, Kristen, I really thank you for taking time today to be with us and explain a little bit about your practice. We want to thank Joe Vagnone, who's a local business broker who is the presenting sponsor of our Around the Lake. And thank you for investing your time in Cornelius and being a part of our Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, thank you.